So, any final thoughts? You know, flipping can be a very unforgiving investment. You need to be on your game every step of the way. And if you make costly mistakes, it can be painful. So when you fail, quickly learn from the mistakes you made and focus on future success, because there are potentially huge paydays to be made when you do it right. Well, people, that is all I have. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will take any questions at this point in time. Okay, everybody still there? Okay, good, good, good. I'm so sorry. I thought I lost you guys. Something was popping up on my screen. Okay, great, great news. Okay, I tell you what. Um, okay, here's what I'm going to do. If you remember earlier, I talked about uh, not always, when you get that contract, not to accept it right away. Okay, well, here's a great case in point. On that particular deal, I didn't hesitate. When I got a contract, I was like, where do I sign? I want to get this deal done. I am ready to go to the closing table. Well, just so happens I put a flip on the market on, I want to say, last Thursday. And on Monday, I got a call from my realtor, and I was told that, hey, I think you're going to get a contract coming in on Monday. So sure enough, I did. Monday night, Tuesday morning, something like that, I got a contract came in, and it was a full price offer. I listed the property at 119,000. Let me put this on the board for you guys. Okay, I listed the property at 119,500. In my mind, I can tell you, I really, 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 I wanted to list it at 125. Okay, that's what I really wanted to list it at. And just, I was all in. This was a partnership deal. I went in with a partner. We're all in this deal for almost exactly $90,000. Okay. And I really wanted to list it at 125, but you know what? I was like, we're going to have a good profit margin. I think it's going to be around $20,000 net that we get at closing if we sold at 119.5. So what happened on this deal was I got a contract for 119.5, full price offer, but the buyer wanted $4,500 or so concessions, seller concessions at closing. And if you add 4,500 to 119.5, it puts you about 123. And I said, you know what? 119.5 is kind of my number, and I don't mind paying a few closing costs. So I countered at 123. Okay. I countered at 123, and they accepted. They said, you know what? We had a verbal. At this point in time, it was very verbal. Nothing was signed, but we agreed on 123. Well, at the same time, this weekend, Monday and Tuesday, because, and I really feel strongly this happened because I priced it aggressively. We've had a lot of showings, a lot of activity in just 4 or 5 days, multiple showings. My realtor called me last night, or texted me, I forget, and said, hey, you're going to you might be getting another offer coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my email. And I said, well, I wanted to sign the contract for 123, believe me, and I wasn't going to wait much longer. But we met today at another property we're getting ready to do, and it says the offer came in as yet. He's like, no, but I think it's going to be a good one. So let me drag my email over here and show you if I can figure out how to work this. All right. If I can show you how to work my email. This came in at what time? 6:21 today. And thank you for considering, I should probably block this out, his VA offer for, this is the property, the street name, for a $130,000 offer with $3,500 closing cost contribution. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. I don't know if I should be showing these people's information. So because I didn't, you know, just jump the gun inside the contract, now I have an offer of $130,000 minus the 3,500. What is that? It's going to be like 126.5. So now I have 126.5, which should mean instead of a net profit of around $20,000, should be $26,000, maybe 26,500. My net will be 126 or 26,500 is going to be my net, and it's hard to draw with this thing. And it's a VA loan. VA loans are great. They are much better than FHA. They are probably one of the best loans that you can have one of your buyers have approval for. So, you know, that was really, really cool that that happened today. And just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, I'm going to pull up some of the questions here. Let me see here. So if anybody liked that example, let me know. If that's not real life nuts and bolts of flipping houses, then I don't know what is. Okay, so can you do my rehab? Send me a bid request. Okay, what is considered low days on the market? Well, anytime you can find houses with 30 days or less is great. 60 days is still acceptable. When you get in 90 days and plus, starts getting into tricky areas. 120, 180 days, forget about it, run away, don't even mess with it. Really like to be around the 30-day mark. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Well, somebody asked me, how do I find general contractors? Well, of course, for me, I'm co-owner of a general contracting company, but what I tell investors in general to do is one of the best ways to find contractors is to ask other investors and get some good recommendations from investors. You can also speak with wholesalers and hard money lenders, because those are some individuals that are going to be able to give you some good referrals. And I'd also really encourage you to see some of the contractors' finished work, because if you can't really see their work, it's really hard to know what you're going to be getting into. And you know, this can be a very tricky business, and if you're going to be doing business in terms of 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 or more with a contractor, and you don't really know what you're getting, that's a scary proposition to me. So you really want to be able to verify your contractor's work through references and through a finished product. So that's my recommendation on finding general contractors. How do you currently finance your deals and on what terms? I use private money for the most part. It's just, I'm just a private money guy. It's the terms are more flexible, it's cheaper and easier. But that being said, for the record, let me just say that if you're just starting out flipping and getting into real estate investing, I actually recommend you use hard money. That's how I started out. And the reason why is a hard money lender is going to analyze your deal as well. I mean, you should be analyzing it already, but if you have a bad deal, more times than not, I would say almost always, your hard money lender is not going to approve that loan, okay? Because they're really looking at days on market, they're looking at value, and they're not going to approve it if it's not a good deal. So when you're just getting started out, I can tell you that a hard money lender is a great way to go. It's a great safeguard to just help ensure success, if you will. And so I really do recommend that. And I can tell you, when a few houses after this, there was a deal that I kind of got focused on that I really wanted to do, and I went to my hard money lender, and he wouldn't approve me for it. And had done several deals, many deals at this time with the gentleman, and I kind of got frustrated and I got upset. And I was like, why won't you let me do this house, basically? And he's like, I can't justify the value. And I got a little frustrated for a little bit, and then I realized, I'm like, Brant, you're really being, a little bit hard-headed and stubborn here, because he's right. Why, if it's not a good deal, just walk away, if the numbers don't make sense. Um, so financing your deals, I'd say start with hard money, and then as you progress, get more experience, move on to the private money lending. And okay, how do you avoid a bad contractor? Well, I think we kind of already talked about that. Is it too risky to invest in rural areas? Um, Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I like areas that where you have a lot of potential buyers, and um, I know there's exceptions to that rule that you could work in rural areas, but not something that I would look at doing as a good business model. So my answer to that would be, for me, yeah, I just wouldn't do it. Um, I have a whole house under contract with a wholesaler. The gas and water is off right now. I need to get an inspection to help me with the scope of work. What is the best way to handle this? Um, well, okay, gas is usually not too big of a deal. Water, not a great deal. But to get an inspection report is something I do recommend you do, even though I'll be honest, I've never had an inspection report done on any of my properties ever. Um, Part of it was just being cheap, and then part of it was just a lot of the houses I buy, I'm like, everything looks broke already, so if it's not broke, then I'll just consider myself lucky, just to be honest. So I haven't done a whole lot of inspection reports, but I can tell you what you can do is some people will go ahead and very nicely ask their inspector to go ahead and inspect it, and at least what they can, invisible signs, and then after the gas or water gets turned on, they can come back and look at those types of systems to see how they're doing. And so anyways, otherwise you should just be able to call for gas and water. Um, Sometimes you have to get the realtor to help with that. How do you make sure your buyer is qualified beyond getting a pre-approval letter? Can you ask for more personal information? Yeah, talk to your realtor and just see if there's any red flags, and see what information that you can get. And yeah, you might be able to actually talk to the mortgage broker as well. I don't think they can disclose personal information, but just kind of dig around and see what you can find out, because that is a kind of a critical component to having success, really. Um, how many flips versus rehab rent? Why pay? Okay, this is a great question. Why pay capital gains on flips rather than rent? That is a great question, and I can tell you that you're going to pay a lot of money flipping houses. You're going to pay a lot of taxes flipping houses. But I can also tell you that you pay a lot of money. You pay a lot of money in taxes working a job and in a lot of other ventures. So it is a nature of this business. Now, what I recommend is not only just simply flipping houses. I recommend also having rental properties to get more of the long-term gains, capital gains, rather than short-term capital gains. So yeah, you are going to take a hit on taxes. Now, I don't like giving tax or really legal advice, so always consult with your accountant. But I can tell you that I have a separate entity set up simply for LLCs and one set up for rental properties for tax purposes to kind of ease the blow. But you know what, the way I kind of look at it, it's kind of a highbrow conversation, because the more money you're paying in taxes, the more money you're making. And say you make whatever 20, 30,000 on a flip and you pay 30, 40%. Well, where I come from, that's still a nice little check you're getting there. So I don't have any problem paying the taxes on it. I can tell you that much. And that's kind of my reasoning for that, especially, I guess, to answer that question as well, for you guys who are going full-time or you're looking to go full-time, you need a whole bunch of rental properties to pay your bills, basically. And you know what I've found over time is that rental property is a great long-term investment, but just on a day-to-day, you know, paying the bills kind of thing, I don't really like to be honest with you, I really don't like to touch my rental property income. You know, that's kind of retirement, that's set aside for repairs, vacancies, and that kind of thing. And you know, that's my whole take on that. That's why I like to flip houses. Yeah, I don't mind paying the taxes. So here we go. Do you find most of your deals, or do you use My House Deals and other wholesalers? I always use wholesalers and deals from My House Deals and Realtors. Um, Let me see here. Hard money too expensive, not interest rate but fees. Yeah, it is. That is why they call it hard money. But you know, I've made a lot of money on deals that I had in hard money loans. But the way I see it, it's, you know, we all kind of, you learn to ride a bike with training wheels, right? Well, and that's fun and that's fine. That's dandy. But after a while, you're going to want to take those training wheels off. And that's kind of how I kind of classify like uh, private money. So start out with the hard money, but you know, you're going to want to progress to private money. Well, that's about all the questions that we have, and that is really the end of the presentation. Oh, there is one other thing I forgot to mention. Some of you have been asking when the next event, live event, is coming up. But we'll talk to you later.